seen Al Gore's movie, An Inconvenient Truth, and could you give your comments on global warming?
Yes, yes, I have seen it. It's very important. We're going to have an event around it. And what are my comments about global warming?
Yes.
That's, well, you can imagine that fits right in with the energy independence and so forth. My feeling about it is that's one of my main targets at Rohrabacher, that he's made these surfacey, clerical responses of that it's baloney, that it's mumbo jumbo, all these things.
It's caused by termites.
That's caused by termites, right?
Who said that?
Dana Rohrabacher. So, no, I take it very seriously, and I don't want to get boggled down with the argument of what percent of the global warming is caused by human. I really don't care, because when I look at their results and what the remedies that they suggest, I don't see one of them that we should not do or that's a bad idea. And I think getting in this argument about what percentage of the global warming is caused by human beings is ridiculous. Because what difference does that make? We're still here, it's still a reality, and we need to clean up the environment anyway. I can't think of one thing. So I don't waste time on the scientific part of it. I accept it and go forward. But that's a key element in my energy plan. You know, I mean, I just can't believe that somebody would make these comments that isn't a scientist, and they're trying to say that there's no relevance to it, or it isn't. How could they do that? Anyway, that's...
Okay, thank you. Along those lines, how do you feel about the feasibility of making Americans energy independent, both as a nation and as individuals?
Yeah, of course, that's a... Now, I didn't get the chance to really go over that when I was giving my opening remarks, but there's a heavy-duty conservation piece to that I think is important, and I think that is going to take a lot of leadership to convince people to do it. I remember when I was a kid and President Kennedy wanted people to become physically fit, and he had the whole nation out doing 50-mile hikes, you know, and they were doing it. In my neighborhood, people went out and did it, but he used the leadership to do it. I talked earlier about the talent and the education and developing, and all that is critical, but the conservation is important too. People have to want it. It's a big thing to become energy independent by 2020, and that's where I think the challenge is coming in. And I don't know if people realize that a third of our pollution problems are from industry. You know, the ports are 20% of the pollution in the entire LA basin, and they include Orange County when they're talking that way. They're using that term, LA basin, as a huge thing. 20%. You know, that's from one commercial source.
How do you envision working with Governor Schwarzenegger just signed a bill in for solar tax credits? Of course, he's on the other side of the fence. How do you see working as a team?
I think that's it. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm quoted all over my website and all my literature that I think we need leaders that are going to look out for Americans first and politics last. You know, I keep saying that, and of course, I've worked with Schwarzenegger on several things. That's one of them, with no problem. Stem cell research too. When he's on the right side of something, I don't care what party he's in. We're trying to get these things done.
Okay, and what consequences to the economy do you foresee as a result of making Americans independent? And I specifically refer to the oil industries, the mining industries, and the political consequences worldwide of an independent America.
Well, first of all, if we have the right approach, and we're doing it for the right reasons, then I think it's going to be very positive overall. There will be some fallout in the oil industry, but it's their own fault. They didn't realize that they're in the energy business, not the oil business. You know, and they should have been doing these things before. But as far as your question with the rest of the world, we're going to improve them too. America has always exported its technology all over the world, and third world countries benefit from our development as much as anyone. So I don't see any fallout there. I mentioned, I think, the labor, the manufacturing, all of those would be improvements to us here. And the fact that the oil companies wouldn't be able to hold a hammer over our head, I think that's a positive thing.
You've already touched on this, but here's another opportunity in a little different light. What would you do to secure reports? I know that's one of your favorite reports.
Yeah, several things. First of all, I would inspect the containers at their source. We have got to do that. And it's hard, I kind of mix securing the ports with the pollution thing. I kind of look at, in some cases they overlap a little bit. But I believe that port security, as well as enhancing the Coast Guard out there, you know, it's absolutely insane the way Homeland Security is budgeted. It's just beyond belief that it's pork from members of Congress. You've all seen that, where Wyoming's per person amount is double what ours is, and it doesn't make any sense. Well, to have the right inspection technology to make it safe here, it's going to take some money, you know, and we need to get our share of that money. This is the biggest threat on the West Coast, so I don't see any way around that.
And finally, how would you address the border issue?
Oh, that's a big one, isn't it? Okay, let me try to be as short as I can. I'm very serious about that one, and I've been criticized by both sides, so I'll just tell you that up front. Being from the Marine Corps and so forth, I have a strong sense of national security. I want the border to, and I respect the rule of law, so I want the border to be secure. I think we need to have those 10,000 border agents that we said, that were budgeted, and probably another 5,000 on top of that. I believe that's true. As far as the wall goes, I think it's worthless, but I would give in on that. That's a little, if I could get the other things I want. What really needs to happen is we need to enforce the laws that are on the books with the employers. You know, it's critical. I compete against them all the time where they're cheating and they bid on contracts and they're using undocumented workers, and, you know, on a cost bid, it's ridiculous. So I experienced that firsthand. But what it does is it creates a slave class where these people can't do anything or they'll be turned in and deported, right? So the employer doesn't pay their workers' comp, doesn't pay all those things. So we got this shaky foundation in our economy and everything over this. And so not only do we need to increase the border guards, but we need to add 200 prosecutors, you know, to go after, to let the employers of this country know that we're serious about the rule of law. How come they talk about illegal aliens but not illegal employers? You know, is one better than the other? I'm not sure. If it is, it's the alien, because the employer is doing it for greed. But anyway, you know, if you think of it that way. So we need that, but the biggest thing that we need, having said I saved the biggest piece for the last, is we have to change the immigration system itself. When I have resources that I need, if I get a contract with a corporation and I need a couple project managers and I can't find them, I can bring somebody from the Philippines or India, and I can do it within 30 days, and it's completely legal. I can get them background checks. They're here for a period of time, and it's not a problem. Now, that seems a little strange to me, that why can't that be extended to lots of other, you know, IT happens to have that facility. So the system itself is broken. We have these 12 million people here, at least, right? It depends on whose estimates you use, but let's just accept 12 million for this discussion. Then you can't do what Rohrabacher says. You can't deport those 12 million. What kind of sense does that make? Not only that, it's not even in our tradition that you go for 30 years and you have things go a certain way and you look the other way on certain laws, and then overnight you're going to enforce them, and then you're going to tell the employers that they have amnesty, like it says in the Senate bill. How can you do that? It doesn't make any sense.